what's going on, everybody? Wanted to do a quick kind of overview of some of the recent discoveries that I've had using some different template types. Going over the ever so popular laser cut templates and CNC cut templates. The big differences between the two, obviously, are the types of cutting. One's cut with a high-powered laser and one's cut with a metal bit in a CNC router. The issues that I found using these over the past, probably couple of years, is kind of forcing me to like the laser cut less and less. Though the concept of the laser cut seems to make sense in execution, I'm seeing some pretty poor quality results from the laser cut templates. For example, when you look at a laser cut template, whoever you get them from will more than likely cut them from a full sheet. So, if you've got, a full guitar package, with, a couple of body templates and a neck and a pick guard and things, they'll lay that out in their CAD program and just laser the whole thing, right? It minimizes the amount of waste on a, quarter-inch sheet of MDF or whatever the material is that they use. The downside, a couple of things. One is the edges actually aren't very smooth. They're pretty rough. The laser causes the edge to burn the MDF. So you get inconsistencies when you use this as a template and you've got your router bit with a ball bearing guide on this edge. It actually creates a bumpy edge, and so you either have to go back through and sand your templates anyway that are laser cut, or save and not save time and have to repair your actual neck or your body later by sanding, which to me completely negates the purpose of the template. I'm using the template to save time and trying to get as smooth as edge as possible so I can minimize my sanding. Got enough dust in my shop. So that's one big drawback there. The second is what I've got laid out here, and primarily around the body and the neck pocket itself. This is where there's some extreme, in my opinion, some extreme potential quality issues that you have to deal with later. I've used these exact templates on a couple of guitars and had to do some pretty quick thinking while I was pulling stuff together. So what I've done is I've taken a board and I've drawn a center line down the board. That's this line here. The center line is set up and it's true to the body. I've got it just taped down here so you can see. And then if I take the neck, which most template guys, large or small, they'll give you the courtesy of a center line, and you set this in there, and you can line it up, and you can see, hey, great, look, it looks pretty minimal. Except here's the kicker: the pocket itself. As you can see here, the burn marks around where it was cut, and how much gap is introduced on the joint. So I wanted to quantify that. A lot of people say, well, it's not that bad and it's manageable. And I'm kind of calling BS on that. It's not manageable. I've had to deal with this quite a bit, and it's a huge pain to have to deal with this. So what I've done is I've set this up as a template, and if I mark my center line, put this pocket on here, and I lift the neck up and down, you can see how much play there is in that gap, the thickness of the laser and how much is burned from the laser on the MDF itself. And you can clearly see that this goes up and down. So I measured that. I wanted to quantify that. So I've measured it at the nut and at the end of the headstock to show the differences. So I pushed this up as far as it would go, made a tick mark, put it down as far as it would go, and made a tick mark, and used what I know is a true tempered steel straight edge that I've had for years. It's flat as can be. And I've drawn those lines to reference. So from the nut, that you get an overall 1/4 inch up and down. So that's a 1/4 inch per side, or a 1/2 inch total that it flexes up and down at the nut. At the end of the headstock, it's 3/8 up from the center line and 3/8 down from the center. That's 3/4 of an inch total. So not as big as a concern here as it is here. That's a 1/2 inch variance that you're going to have, that you have to deal with as you're setting up the guitar later. So when you run and you start putting your bridge on, you get this thing fretted. If you're doing a, whatever nut you're doing here, non-trem or tremolo nut, whatever it is, and you've got to get all this stuff centered up. When it comes time and your bolts in the back of your neck pocket that bolt into the neck, all of these things are factors. And I don't want this much play when I'm trying to set everything else up. I've already got enough variables to worry about. The last thing I want is a 1/2 inch of play in my templates that I have to fool with later, and trying to figure out where I have to, make sure I've got this neck, just right before I drill these pocket holes. If I've got that off just a smidge, your strings will be hugely affected, right? By the time you get down to going over your pickups, lining up to your bridge and the edge of your fretboard. A huge pain to have to deal with later, and I've had to deal with that. I've seen a lot of guys put tape on the inside of the neck pocket to compensate for that, and that's fine. I guess I could see that. I've tried that on one of my recent builds, and again, because of that inconsistency with the edge of the laser cut and the tape, my pocket was even worse, and I did it on a test piece of a maple, and it was a hot mess. So I ended up just not using it. When you look at what else is available from a CNC routing perspective, these templates are significantly higher quality. A recent example I have here, Potvin Guitars, Mike over at Potvin, he's a super cool guy, just one of the guys that I deal with. But you can see CNC cut template, neck template, CNC body template, and these are milled separately. As you can see, they can't be milled from one piece. There's no room for the bit. So that allows him and other guys to make this a super tight tolerance. And as you can see, you have to push this into the template, and it's in there. You can see it's holding itself up. And when you set that down, there's no play. When I'm trying to move this, it fits so well that it's moving the body with it as well. There is zero play on those particular templates, which is great. So what does that translate to? That translates to one less thing I have to problem solve later when I'm putting things together. Once I start, getting my bridge aligned and all that, I can trust and know that this neck pocket is super snug and tight for my templates, and I don't have to do any major chiseling, any major alterations, nothing later, alterations, later to fix this up. It's pretty much good to go. So, in my opinion, after fooling with these templates for several years now, Mike over at Potvin, there's a couple other guys on eBay, even a couple guys on reverb.com that are selling CNC templates. Yeah, they're a heck of a lot more. They are a lot more. But when it comes to the time that it saves and the headache that it saves and the quality increase that I have, I can't increase, I can't decrease the amount of time I'm trying to work on a build with these laser templates. This is increasing my time. This is increasing the amount of time I have to fool with something versus the CNC templates. Do yourself a favor, just spend the extra bucks, get the CNC templates. It'll save you a lot of work and a lot of hassle later, and provide a much higher quality neck pocket and build of your guitar.